So for those of you entering, just coming into the room now, welcome. We will get started right away. I'm Susan Batchelder. If you haven't met me yet, go ahead and say hello in the chat. Get comfortable. We are going to get started. If you have questions during the presentation, feel free to drop them into the question and answer module. We have it turned on. It helps us make sure we get your question answered and it doesn't get lost in the chat. We'll definitely check the chat, but if you could help us out and put it in the question and answer, that'll be amazing. We will pause at the end to make sure you get all your questions answered. And let's get started. We should all be able to see my screen. Today, we are going to be presenting DAISY and the main project within Endotech, where passive income meets artificial intelligence trading and equity crowdfunding. This slide is almost a teaser, but to really focus the attention, let you know where our attention is focused on, and that's you. This is the results to date, actually, of last Friday. Presently, we are at 800 and over 832% gains, total compounding growth in just over 1 year. And why do I say the focus is on you? Is because that's the benefit to you with what we're about to share with you. We're going to dive into a lot of details, and just pausing here to start right at the beginning lets you know that this is the benefit to you when you get started with this opportunity. Disclaimer, participating in this crowdfunding campaign is a contribution towards artificial intelligence algorithms in development and testing by Endotech through a decentralized, autonomous organization, otherwise titled DAO, and the use of smart contracts on the public blockchain. You should use personal investment capital. Make your own choice and don't use money that you need to pay your bills or for your life. Imagine what's possible if you could earn reliable compounding profits with your money through fully audited systems. Today, we're going to talk about next generation crypto, Forex, artificial intelligence trading, the trading performance track record, which you got a sneak peek of overall the total compounding that has been created in just over a year. We're going to talk about Dr. Anna Becker, the mind behind it all, her bio and credibility. Endotech, company that she co-founded and is overseeing the entire platform. The vision, DAISY. What is DAISY? Your benefits, equity and passive income. The DAISY crowdfunding model and how it works, and the onboarding and how we have step-by-step video guidance for you. You're not alone. So the next generation artificial intelligence trading, let's dive into this. First and foremost, it's truly never been done before. It is using artificial intelligence to take already proven and successful trading systems to the next level, including a wealth of experience of multiple experts that has been culminated over more than 20 years. The goal is to create the #1 artificial intelligence trading performance in all major markets, not just Forex and crypto, as we'll be focusing on today. It is being developed by Endotech, a breakthrough AI company founded and led by Dr. Anna Becker. Previously available to quant hedge funds and large institutional investors, is now available to the masses because of what we're going to share with you here. So let's dive into some of the details of the Forex AI. It was fully launched April 4th, 2022. That is the system. It was partially, the fund amounts were partially launched throughout April, and the full fund went into active trading the 1st of May of 2022. It is high frequency trading, averaging of 4.4% a week, with new AI strategies in development all the time. So any strategies that are not performing as they want them to, they remove those and add in the strategies that are performing best to have optimal performance at all times. As mentioned, over 817% as of last week, and presently we are over 832%, just over a year. It's mind-blowing. Developed by Dr. Anna Becker and her team of over 60 quant scientists. A few more granular details. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense. We just want to share as much information as possible. They use diversified trading strategies. Scalp, intraday, and swing trading are the terms. What that means is some of the trades are open for a few minutes, some a few hours, and some over a few days. Also diversified in currencies. They use the major Forex currencies and precious metals, gold and silver. Really important is this fund has intensive multi-layered risk management. What does that mean? There's risk management for each of the strategies as far as exit strategies, when to get out if a trade either changes direction or doesn't work out as anticipated with the market movement. And also, the entire fund is divided up into multiple layers of sub-accounts. Each currency has its own accounts, each strategy has its own accounts, and then further broken down to all the buys are in one sub-account and the sells in another sub-account. And what that means is there is no one trade, no one currency, no one strategy that could affect the overall greater fund. The protection of the fund is of utmost importance, managing risk in all angles. We've seen less than 15% drawdown, and that was a one-time incident, typically less than 1 to 3%, which is incredible for a fund of this size with so many strategies and currencies going. The leverage is also low, 1 to 50 and as low as 1 to 10, so that the entire fund is never over leveraged. Your money protection is always of utmost importance. Let's talk about Dr. Anna Becker now, the mind behind it all. Her team of AI scientists have more than 20 proprietary systems in operation and serve as the AI investing backbone of trading at more than 150 investment firms across the US, Europe, and Asia. Fun fact, at the age of 20, she found an approximation algorithm by a factor of 2, which now has worldwide applications in operating and database systems. She has a PhD in artificial intelligence from the Technion Institute and has founded and sold several AI companies in the fintech space. Recognized for over 25 years, she's a pioneer and leading scientist in the field of AI and financial technology. Her publications have been distributed and integrated into many of the leading AI financial circles across Europe and America. Her deep learning algorithms manage over $1 billion of investment assets under management and have been deployed in managing institutional monies for more than a decade. These are just a few of the points that we find really important to share with you because she's the mind behind it all. We've gathered resources. You can reach out to us if you want them for yourself or to use to share with others. It's important to know who is behind it, and not just is she a genius, but this project is essentially her lifelong mission. She puts her heart behind it. So some of the videos that we have in the resources are well worth your time watching to just get a sense of who she is as a person as well as her genius. Now, let's have a look at Endotech. It's a $200 billion AI fintech company with a greater than $2 billion valuation. Excuse me. That number is from the beginning of September as of last year. We anticipate it is significantly higher as of now. Founded in 2012 in Israel, it is the first true software as a solution in the field of AI-driven automated trading. It helps retail and institutional investors harness the power of AI algorithms to capitalize on market volatility. Currently, they're providing AI trading systems for top financial institutions, hedge fund managers, and accredited investors. They plan to go public, initially scheduled, aiming for this year, 2023. It could be out into next year. Their target is 500 million assets under management. They're audited by one of the big four, Ernst & Young, and have a proven track record of high performance results. You can go ahead and look at Endotech by going to their website, endotech.io. We also have some resources in the resource document that I mentioned with Dr. Anna Becker's information on Endotech. And interesting, another fun fact, Bren and I were actually researching Endotech and Dr. Anna Becker in depth before the project of Daisy, but it really wasn't accessible to us or for us to offer to membership. So we're really excited that it is now, and that proof of performance is so exceptional. Hundreds of thousands of investors are now tapping into this institutional grade solution, previously only available to quant hedge funds and large institutional investors. So the vision is to create the world's leading AI trading performance in multiple major financial markets and give all of us, the masses, access to dependable high return trading systems. Endotech going public with a target of 500 million assets under management. How are they going to accomplish this? Well, with an innovative, disruptive model using groundbreaking technology. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to my incredible business partner, and he's going to dive into that. Over to you, Bren.
Thank you, Susan. Is my voice coming through loud and clear?
Sure is.
So let's connect the dots, my friends, and see how someone like you, all of us, can get access to this institutional grade trading. You've heard of a multi-billion-dollar company, Endotech, that's established, time-tested and battle-tested. But now, how do you and I tap into this technology? How take it to the next level? And we're going to do it through a business community with a limitless future known as Daisy. Daisy stands for Decentralized AI System. It is not a trading platform, but it is an equity crowdfunding platform that raises venture capital for disruptive projects like the one that you just heard about for Endotech and the incredible performance. So up to this point, outside of Daisy, Endotech has not deployed their strategies in the foreign exchange in the Forex trading market. We're crowdfunding a testing and development fund for something that's never been done before, and it's decentralized equity crowdfunding. That may sound complicated, but basically early stage crowdfunding, the old versions of donation-based crowdfunding like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Seed Invest. You were basically making a donation to a startup company and you hoped someday they may be successful. And if they were, you may not necessarily get anything in return for that. But around 2012, equity crowdfunding became very popular and powerful and has grown to over a $4 billion per year revenue industry. And this is where you get to own a piece of the company that you get behind. So you get to own a piece of Endotech, the first project to use the Daisy crowdfunding model when you participate. But it goes one step further and it's decentralized. So it's anonymous and it's fully transparent for traceability of every single transaction on what's known as smart contracts, which you can simply think of as digital agreements or digital handshakes. We can show you every single dollar that's being moved right now through the smart contracts. We're currently crowdfunding, as mentioned, Indotech for the development of their AI project. And I encourage you to, if you really want to do some in-depth due diligence, to go through the white paper. It's very in-depth. Some of it will be over your head, but you'll see just how advanced this actually is. This is not a Forex bot that was bought off the corner of some forum on the internet. This is the real deal. Indotech are the real deal, and there's 60 quant scientists overseeing this. So crowdfunders receive equity in this phenomenal company, as well as potential rewards from the trading performance, because we're funding a testing and development fund. You are a venture capitalist. However, you've seen the incredible performance to date. Even though we can't guarantee it continues along those lines, as the machine learning continues to evolve, potentially it could get potentially even better, and we'll be able to diversify into multiple financial markets, because as Susan said just a moment ago, the goal is to create the #1 AI trading performance in all major markets, which will allow us to diversify. Eventually, we will have commodities, futures, indices, and so on. So you're leveraging the power of community to back breakthrough fintech, financial technology companies, using the model where everyone wins with profits, equity, and income. And that really is what's in it for you. You get to receive profits, potential profits along the way, and you get to own a piece of Indotech and receive income, as you can see here. The equity is a future realized value. Indotech is not public yet, but they have a pre-IPO valuation of over $2 billion. They do $100 million per year in annual recurring revenue just from those high subscription fees that Susan mentioned, which was the barrier to entry. So Daisy is your gateway. Daisy is your point of access with a low financial barrier to entry, so that we can pool our funds together, and Indotech will treat that pooled fund as one of their institutional clients. And that is how this is evolving here. So the AI trading rewards obviously are not guaranteed, but any successful performance is shared back to the community, and you'll see just how that is broken down here in a moment. So all of the smart contracts can be seen on the Block Explorer Tron scan, if you're familiar with that. If not, don't worry, but there's millions of transactions to be seen on these smart contracts. Every second you can see purchases and contributions going into the community, and this slide needs updating because we're just about to hit 200,000 community members, which is a powerful crowdfunding community. When the next projects come along to use this Daisy crowdfunding model, they have access to a lot of social capital, a huge community to build brand awareness for them. So this model is very attractive to companies that, as opposed to going out there trying to spend money to acquire customers in a noisy competitive marketplace, this avenue of access is very powerful. Over 215 million in profits has been earned by the community. Over 112 million has been withdrawn, and there is an optional rewards model with this where you can share Daisy with others. And if you add everything up, there's tens of millions of dollars in payouts, more than has been contributed to Daisy. So of the hundreds of millions of dollars that has been contributed to Daisy, if you add up what's been paid out, it exceeds it by tens of millions of dollars, which is record breaking in the crowdfunding, especially reward-based crowdfunding space. So the crypto AI launched in January 2021. 2021 was a unique year in the world of cryptocurrency. There was a lot of black swan events, a lot of major crashes, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. We got as high as 120% returns. A lot of that was given back to the market. $30 million was migrated over actually in November last year from the crypto fund into the Forex trading fund, and has earned 116% since it was moved over. And about $15 million was left in the crypto trading fund for the team to continue to develop, to continue to crack the code and really hone in on how to master profiting substantially from the cryptocurrency market. It's volatile, it's somewhat unpredictable, but the AI is learning how to master it. And we're keeping a close eye on this fund And when we see a good solid 6 months of forward live performance, you'll hear a lot more about it on these calls. Continue to join us every week. So Forex AI launched as of April 2022 using 50% of the crowdfunded capital. Actually, the crowdfunding began in October of the previous year. October 2021 is when myself and Susan and many others contributed risk capital for the Forex Trading Fund, and it took a full 6 months to develop it for it to go live, because it's a huge logistical operation to make that integration between the multiple Forex brokers, feed that back over the blockchain into over the smart contracts into all of our accounts. And so since that point, you saw the results. We had the 1-year anniversary, and you've seen just the phenomenal results when you use and take advantage of the compound effect. And so there's 2 contribution categories. As mentioned, the primary focus of this presentation is the Forex, and it's broken down into levels of contribution. At this time, during the crowdfunding phase, we call them tiers, and we'll show you a slide of exactly what that looks like in a minute. Tier 3 and beyond puts 70% into live trading for the purpose of testing and development. The other 30% goes towards your piece of ownership, your piece of equity in Indotech. And you get to keep 70% of your trading profits. So it's a performance fee. There's a profit split. There's many names for it, but essentially this is Indotech's primary source of revenue. And it's a win-win situation, because they only profit if you profit. If they ain't making any profit, they don't get paid, and they only charge every 6 months, which means that you have a full 6 months for the compound effect to be kicking in on your account, because 100% of the profits that your capital is generating every time a trade closes is becoming a part of your trading balance, and the money that your money's earning is earning more money, and that effect compounded on itself is why you can see such phenomenal results. Even if anything over 10% per month is absolutely insane in these markets. If you look across the world right now with global macroeconomic events and uncertainty, everybody's portfolio is red, no matter what market you look at, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, banks dropping like flies left and right. And with this fund, to be able to tap into this artificial intelligence where you don't have to stare at candlestick charts and learn trading and remove your emotions from it, stay up until 4 a.m. in the morning. You don't have to do any of that. You can leverage Indotech and their team and their decades of experience. And that's what we're plugging into here. And I think that's very fair to be able to keep 70%. Don't you think they deserve to be paid for such a thing? I'll pay that all day long, as opposed to the workload of doing it myself. Contributors are also rewarded with their share of Indotech prior to it going public. So for all crowdfund community members, 5% of Indotech stock equity has been set aside for us, the crowdfunding community. That's how valuable they see us. And we are valuable because we've increased brand awareness for Indotech. We've made them practically a household name. And when you impress 198,000 people, guess what they do? They talk, but they tell other people. They mention Indotech to people. So that word of mouth marketing, again, it's expensive to buy. However, with this model, it really is going viral. We've 500 to 700 people per day around the world joining right now. So these contribution tiers that you can see during this current crowdfunding phase, we're going to unpack it here for you. You come in the front door of Daisy over the blockchain in your own crypto wallet with 200 USDT. That is the minimum contribution to Daisy, and it puts 50% into live trading. However, to be perfectly honest with you, to make it worth your while, we suggest you come in at tier 3 or higher. Now, there's an important point here. These tiers must be purchased in sequential order. You can't buy tier 3 on its own and jump over tier 1 and 2. You can't leapfrog to tier 7 and buy it on its own. They must be purchased one after another in sequential order. However, once you own that tier, you can go back and repurchase it as many times as you want. And this allows you to customize your contribution and the amount of capital you're putting into this crowdfund. Couple of reasons you'd want to at least get in at tier 3. You'll see in the second column that that is where 70% starts to go into live trading. And it's also where you start to earn shares in Indotech equity. And so get in where you fit in. Don't over leverage yourself. However, tier 3 and beyond, if you take into account the blockchain fees, the gas fees on the Tron blockchain that we're using, it just makes sense. And until May 31st, you have the opportunity to get an additional 20% into live trading. This is open to tier 3 and above is where this becomes eligible. You must purchase the tier for the first time, but when you go back and rebuy tier 3 or 4, 90% will go into live trading. And from tier 5 and beyond, you can rebuy tier 5 as many times as you want, and 90% will go into live trading. If this tiered structure is new to you, don't worry about it. They're just fixed capital amounts. But once the money comes through these tiers and is distributed through the smart contracts, it all accumulates together in your overall trading balance. And in the very first video of our setup tutorial guides, which guide you, you'll see an exact breakdown of how much is going into live trading and the total amount that you have funded. And to recap, here we are sitting right now, as Susan mentioned, at 832%. It's a full-time job keeping these slides updated because of the compound effect and because it's growing. So incredible. You can see the chart there. There has been pullbacks, there has been losing days, but we have not had a losing week yet. Over $178 million in contributions into the Forex trading fund alone, over $250 million in profits. Nearly $120 million of that profit has been withdrawn. About 1 in 3 people decide to withdraw their profits every weekend if they want to. They're free to do so. 2/3 of people on average take advantage of the compound effect and can turn even a modest amount of money into a significant amount if you have patience. Because as Warren Buffett says, the financial markets is a financial tool used to move money from the hands of the impatient into the hands of the patient. And if you're on this call and you're expecting to get rich overnight with a few $100s, or you think every day is going to look the same, we can only get what the market gives us. No 2 days are the same. If the AI decides that it's too volatile or there's a major economic event and there's a reason to stay out, it's going to stay out of the market and not trade. It's not just about what you make, it's about what you keep. Capital preservation is rule number 1. Susan's already alluded to the fact that there's multi-layered risk management here. What's the point making 5% a day if it blows up in your face after 90 days? We want something long-term that's sustainable, and Indotech's primary objective is to capital preservation and for this to be here for many decades to come. For that reason, set your expectations the right way. And if you're sharing it with others, always under promise and over, so that let software over deliver. And so zoom out. The larger the span of time you look at, the more you see the law of averages. Don't look at daily returns or weekly or even monthly. Look at least quarterly. And when I talk to people, I talk about annual returns. And that's what you're looking at here. We just came up in the 1-year anniversary. And these compound returns are impressive. And that's what's possible when the compound effect is given time to work. So here you can see a breakdown of monthly. At right now, the average gross is 21% per month. I just move something out of the way here. So the second column in there, you can see total monthly profit growth. Cumulative total profit in the second column, and monthly gross returns. That's before the performance fee. But remember, if you're leaving your money in there, that performance fee is only coming out every 6 months. So technically for a full 6 months, it's net because 100% of it's going in to your trading balance and compounding. So an example of this confuses some people. If you take, let's say somebody started with $10,000. Well, the total monthly profit growth in the first column right there, that's the growth relative to your initial 10,000. So if you started with 10,000 and then you see in the month of November it was 82%, that means you earned $8,200 relative to the initial 10,000 you started with. So that's how that compound effect works. And right now we'll be updating this to also reflect the month of April. Once April closes out, we don't know what that's going to look like yet. And so no 2 days in the market are the same, no 2 weeks. Keep that in mind, my friends. But if you're in it for the long run and you have patience and just let it ride, once you put your money in there, the team is going to do the rest for you. Indotech is going to oversee the operations of the AI as it learns for the open of the New York London session. You don't have to dedicate years of practice to develop elite level emotional discipline and monitor the charts yourself. You can use AI, and AI is not going away. It's permeating through all types of market verticals and sectors right now, and there's a lot of job displacement about to come. Similar to the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, the AI revolution is uprooting a lot of things, and it's allowing companies to get stuff done for pennies on the dollar, as opposed to employees that get sick and don't show up for work, or all of those things. So automation is coming, it's here. This is a way to capitalize on it as opposed to being rendered obsolete by it. So we encourage you to take advantage. You can go to joindaisy.global. Whoever invited you to this call, when you get to step 5, you will need their referral link, but each of the videos walk you through everything you need to know to get set up, even if it's your first time getting involved in cryptocurrency. And I'd just like to point out that you are not exposed to the volatility of the cryptocurrency market. If you don't trust the crypto financial market and its ups and downs, that's okay. That's not what we're doing here. We're using what's called a stable coin. We're just using blockchain technology to move digital capital, to move digital assets. It then gets converted into fiat inside the Forex brokers, and that's how it's traded. So you're not sitting money unless you choose to do the crypto trading, obviously. This step-by-step guidance is very thorough. And as mentioned, most people, in fact, 90% of people are purely passive contributors in Daisy. However, when something works, it's quite difficult to keep it to yourself. And should you decide to share it with others, it's very lucrative to do so. And we've made it simple for you. We've put step-by-step instructional, and I guess you could say educational videos that's going to help share the story for you. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to know the answers to every questions. We have these live presentations every week so that you can leverage them and take advantage of them and let us answer the questions for anyone that you want to show this to. But also, if they just want to get a taste of what it's all about, you can send them right over to joindaisy.global/introduction. It's completely safe. Our links aren't on anywhere to be seen on this. There's a short 7-minute video, animated video that gives a high-level overview. They click that button that says, yes, show me, and it'll dive into a more in-depth overview. And below that video, we've a link to all the sign-up steps and even links out to the white paper if someone really wants to go deep. So a couple of weeks ago, we just came from the Told You So event, 2,500 people at the Jumeirah Resort in Dubai. Phenomenal event, great speakers. Anna Becker's presentation, we can't wait for the videographers to fully edit it and reveal all the progress that has been made thanks to us, thanks to what we did as a community, what allowed them to do, the advancements that they have made. And if it's getting very close to the point where this product that we crowdfunded is almost a final product and it's ready to be brought to the world. And we'll all
In fact, on that note, Bren, I'm going to jump in here along with you here. On that note, while we were at the event, the session where Dr. Anna was presenting, she said it is ready. So imagine that, just 1 year of the Forex and testing and development and working on artificial intelligence. They've made so much progress that she says it's ready. So in the background, there is a massive amount of work going into play to bring this project to the public. So it's just phenomenal. I'll dive into just a couple of the details, but it's really best that you hear it from her. She said that they moved to a more holistic approach, and she's had this idea for years, but she just didn't know how to put it into play. And when she consulted with other AI experts, they kind of just they did not, first of all, believe her or what she was thinking, the direction she was taking, because it's literally never been done before, as we mentioned in the beginning. And here is how it looks. Instead of one overall AI with thousands and thousands of lines of guidance and instruction, she has separated it into more than 50 AI experts. And she gave each AI expert a very specific focus. She had taken a step back from the overall project and had to look at what do, teams of experts, and how do they function, and how do they accomplish so much. And then she realized that it's because each expert has their specific focus and they work together and feed off of each other. So they have, of the 50 experts, just to give you a couple of examples, there's one expert that specifically focuses on the weekdays. So Monday in the market is completely different behavior, market moves, price action than Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And Fridays, again, are very different as far as volatility and typical behaviors. And then there's an expert that specifically focuses on market analysis, an expert that focuses on volatility, one that focuses on trend moves, one that focuses on reversals, resistance and support lines, etc. We could go on forever. But the exciting part about that is she said that it is now handling complex moves with ease and more accuracy, therefore has a much higher probability of high results and even better risk management. Sometimes the experts are still misbehaving. This is just a totally transparent point, which I love how she was so transparent and true about it. She says sometimes the experts are still misbehaving, but the cool thing about that is the other experts are catching it with their expertise, working together like true teams. So a holistic approach. So in her words, the code has been cracked. Daily improvements are continuing to go, but we are ready for market. And that feeds us into, we're ready for question and answer. And a really great question, Jerry, thank you. The hedge funds, how does that look? What are these changes and more information going on about that? This model is moving forward. It will be over the next few months, maybe sooner than we anticipate, but we will reveal all the information as it comes to. Everybody will hear about it, even publicly, on the monthly DAISY global updates. But the really cool changes that will be taking place that will be a benefit to each one of us is fully registered and legal, and also the tiers that Bren went through in detail. The tier structure will be gone, so the contribution amount can be absolutely customized. Bren, go ahead and chime in with me as we're talking about the changes that may come.
Yeah, and I'm just reading Roberto
affect everyone.
Jimenez's long comment here. First of all, Roberto, the migration, you're not going to be migrated into DAISY 2.0 without your consent. It's optional. If you want to stay in the DeFi model, it'll essentially be, you'll be grandfathered in, and it'll close doors and stay as a private fund. The migration across is optional, and accredited investors is a word that has been spoken. However, there's only certain jurisdictions that would potentially apply to, and it's going to depend on the laws for each jurisdiction. There's also laws for hedge funds and lockup times and early exit fees that's going to vary. All of that has to be coded into the smart contracts. the current model will continue as it is. So this isn't to take anything away. The hedge fund is to enhance and will run parallel to the current model. And it's how the product that we crowdfunded will be brought to the world. And there's already, this is how the big money is going to come in. There's already 4 hedge funds lined up. That's already over $100 million that are committed to allocating a percentage into this hedge fund when it goes live. So it's also going to help partition and I guess you could say separate in the marketplace the conversation of Daisy and Indotech. There's been a bit too much overlap with some hot-headed marketers that have, you know, put up content that may not necessarily be compliant in the eyes of regulatory bodies. And so what is Daisy Indotech? Is Indotech Daisy? No, they're completely separate. Indotech is a rock solid company that was incorporated in 2012 in Israel with billions of dollars connected to their trading strategies. They just formed an OKX institutional partnership 7 days ago. We put the Yahoo Finance article into our document there for you to see. Indotech's the real deal. Daisy is the decentralized, there's no humans involved. It's a decentralized model for raising venture capital for projects, for companies like Indotech. So that conversation needs to be, the hedge fund will help separate that. The other thing the hedge fund will help do is raise the AUM, the assets under management of Indotech, which will expedite their journey to going public. And so all the licenses, regulatory and trading licenses, are being worked on, and many of them already in place. There's even one called an AI bot license that the CFTC attorney spoke about at the event, which is quite unique and works in over 150 countries. The cool thing, though, is that this hedge fund will still be on the blockchain, so it'll be the first of its kind, but it'll be a lot simpler. There won't be these tiers. It'll be, if you want to, and we'll actually be allowed to say invest instead of crowdfunding. If you want to invest $21,432, any arbitrary number, you do it in one single transaction over the Tron blockchain, which will dramatically reduce gas fees, transaction fees. So the hedge fund is going to be the first of its kind, and it will be help us diversify into multiple strategies and bring in some very big money. But don't worry, if you're a passive contributor and you're in the current model and you don't want to migrate, that's your choice. You stay where you are. Hopefully that makes it clear. So it's not
You'll
to take
definitely
anything
be able
away.
to make an informed decision. Once it goes live, there will be in-depth details revealed so that you can make an informed decision. And as Brent mentioned, it's solely your decision.
No, there wouldn't, Jerry, there wouldn't be any alteration in the performance. It'll be the same technology that's trading the funds, whether it's in the hedge fund or whether it's in the crowdfund model. Hopefully that's clear. This isn't a human that has to hop between 2 screens and try and place the same trade twice, you know.
And so as the current model is trading, that will remain in place. No switch of attention as far as the artificial trading, artificial intelligence trading will happen. And it's not dependent on the entire volume either. So the volume that moves over into the new model will move over. It's all relative to percentage base, not dependent on the volume. Any other questions?
Yes, you won't have to do anything, Roberto, even if you didn't know that 2.0 was happening, you wouldn't have agreed to anything. So it'd be just as it is now. Yes.
And Yusuf, yes, there is an Islamic account option when you register as of now in this existing model. So on registration, You scroll down to about 3/4 of the way down the page, and there's a checkbox that you would check if you want an Islamic account. And we will ask the question, and it'll definitely be revealed as we get closer to the launch of the hedge fund model, if there is any options for that. But if not immediately, then the option to stay in the current model with your Islamic account will absolutely be available. What would be the benefit to migrate to Daisy 2.0? The benefit would be if you want to be in a fully legal and registered model. If you want to continue to contribute, because once Daisy 2.0 launches, there will be no new contributions going into our existing model. So it will continue to trade as it is right now, but the doors will be closed and no new funds will be added. So benefit is adding new funds. And for the people that are sharing it with others, that would be the other benefit, is that you could continue to invite others.
Can members still become pace setters on Daisy 2.0? Yes, but there'll be different qualification criteria. It'll be mostly volume based.
And you'll have a different title. So
yeah.
Roberto, yes, for jurisdictions in specific, US will need to be what the term that has been used, an accredited investor. Since we don't want to make any assumptions and surmise that we know what that will mean for the regulatory bodies and the legal team that Daisy is consulting with. So it would be good to be patient until all the details are released. What is required to qualify for KYC as accredited investor if they use that term when it's time for it to go live? And you can self-qualify. You can go through and get a certification to be titled or labeled as a accredited investor even now. So there will definitely be as much ease as possible to qualify. We do not have a specific date as of yet, Yusuf, when Daisy 2.0 will be launched. As it gets closer, we'll definitely know that. And if right now you can fund Daisy by reach back out to the person that invited you. And as Bren talked about and showed, funnel, we have step-by-step video guidance for you. There it is. The only other thing you need is the person that invited you, their direct referral link.
And just to be clear, this is something we put together, these step-by-step videos, and it's free for everyone to use, but it's not corporate material. It's not put together by Daisy. And I mean, look, the world, I don't know, the world's changing. If any of you follow Nomad Capitalist YouTube channel, it's not that difficult to spend $800 and open a Belize LLC online. And join the hedge fund potentially as a company. We will see. There will be many options. How about the deduction would be applied the same 30% when we withdraw in the current model after the new hedge fund started? Because as per I know, the 30% is being charged to pay a referral bonus or something like that. Well, actually, Indotech, if you look, they charge 20 to 30% performance fee, even for their institutional clients. So no, it's not all going to the referral plan. 15% goes to Indotech, 2% goes towards operations. I believe 2% goes towards the crowd fund, and then through the rewards plan, there's about 12.5%. But, you know, there is an alternative, and that's to spend 5 years becoming a professional trader that can do results better than this, and then you get to keep 100% of your profits, but you're still getting you're still being hit with fees, hidden in the spread and commissions in the brokers, you know.
And you're paying with time, your time, energy, and value. So everything has a cost, whether it's in dollar amounts, sharing the profit, or investing your own time.
And that 30% performance fee, I say it often on this call, these other platforms that pretends to be trading, where they're charging you, you know, every weekend or month or something, it's death by 1,000 cuts, because they're killing the compound effect. And you don't notice it as much when it's you know, bleeded out of you in small amounts. So then when what may look like a more substantial chunk comes out every 6 months, you think it's more significant, but not if you consider how much your account has grown. And we have some visual examples of accounts that when you look at the overall picture, you see just how negligible that 30% performance fee looks in the overall growth of the account. And perhaps we can pull one up there for you guys.
Yes, absolutely, Jerry. It's the passive part of it that really the only way to empower yourself to increase your overall wealth, your income assets, is to have something going passively, have your money working for you passively while you're doing whatever else you're doing, whether your work that's creating your working income, or whatever you choose. Expands your options when you have money passively working for you.
We have people that put money into Daisy last summer. They may have experienced a little bit of friction if it was their first time crossing that bridge from the world of traditional fiat currency into cryptocurrency. But once you're in, and we reached out to them, you know, a couple of months ago, how are you enjoying your profits in Daisy? And they said, what's Daisy? They had forgotten that they joined. And we reminded them how to log in, and the trading is happening whether they're paying attention to it or not. So that is the leverage part, just like you mentioned, that freedom that gives you to employ your money without having to constantly check it is powerful. So that's what you can enjoy, and that's what people you share this with can enjoy. Just going to look for an image here.
Well, Brandon's bringing that up. Is there any other questions? Thank you again for sharing your time with us. Time is absolutely our most precious commodity that you can't get back.
So have a look at this fund here. This is a person that started trading from the beginning. They contributed before the trading fund went live on the 4th of April last year. And a modest contribution, just over $1,500 in total contributions. Their trading balance is now 10,664%. They earned 643% gross profit, and 996, that was the performance fee. And here, right here in this chart, was the 4th of October, exactly 6 months after the 6-month performance fee from April 4th. So if you look from here to here, look at the growth. That little nubble, that little dip there, in the grand scheme of things, over a long enough span of time, if you have an investment mindset, the 30% performance fee, it barely budges in the overall chart. If you extrapolate out over a large enough interval of time and get a, I guess, a God's eye view vantage perspective point, because unfortunately, especially in the world of crypto, it has created a lot of impatience and an expectation of, I guess you could say, the microwave economy of the people that want everything now, in a sense of, in the real world of investing, anything over 17% a year is phenomenal right now. So
the other really cool thing, and I know Bren has really dived into the detail with the profit share that Endotech takes, and that it's every 6 months. So your full amount can be compounding during that time. But if we take a step outside of the details that we've shared here and look at, if you were to deploy a investment advisor to your own funds, the investment advisor takes and charges their, whatever their percentage is. The lowest I'm aware of is 6%, but it's often closer to between 8 and 15%. They take that percent of your entire working capital, whether you profit or not. And that's completely contrary to what we have here. The profit share is exactly that. It's not a commission, it's profit share. So in other words, if the fund did not profit, Endotech does not take their profit share. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Makes them even more incentivized to make sure that the fund is successful and performing well.
And brokers make money whether you win or lose a trade as well. If you lose a trade or win a trade, either way they win.
Every trade you pay a commission.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no more questions, it's been an absolute pleasure again sharing the time with all of you. Next week we will go back to our Tuesday time slot for this Daisy live presentation. If you either have more questions or you want to join us just to hear it again, increase your comprehension, please do join us again. Bring 2 or 3 or 4 other people next time with you. Happy to spend the time with you, and see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.